Alright, when it comes to spiritual enlightenment or raising your vibration or ascension or whatever you want to call it these days, I feel like there's not a lot of videos out there that talk about how terrible it is at first and the whole process of getting through to maybe what they call enlightenment, just getting through the emotional wreck and the life falling apart and all the stuff that happens that comes with it. And I have found maybe it's part of the process, but I feel utterly alone in that. And then trying to find videos on YouTube. I've been following a lot of guys for a long time. I watch interviews, I watch people that are just, I guess you could call them spiritual teachers. And a lot of times it seems like they're at a level that's just either unattainable or they're so much farther down the road that if I do attain it, it's going to be like 10 or 20 or 30 years. And right now, my life is just really falling apart. And I know a lot of this stuff and I practice a lot of this stuff, and it seems like the more I practice, the more shit goes south. And maybe that's just part of the process. I'm not saying it's good or bad, it's just what's happening. But it's also really challenging to find that when you are going through hell and these teachers are just saying, oh, be present, feel your feelings, let everything happen, be okay with it, don't resist anything. It feels impossible to do. And maybe a year or two in on this journey, I just feel it's mostly negative feelings and mostly stuff that I would rather avoid, but I can see in the long run that it's probably going to be good, but I don't find anybody talking about it on YouTube, about how much it's just destructive, the process, and how much your life gets overturned, and how much your relationships and your work life and just everything that your belief systems, your religion, if you had one when you started, everything just gets tossed up as up for questioning. And is it true? Is it not true? And then when you find out things aren't true, that you've held to be true your entire life, it's extremely upsetting. I think most people would rather not even look at something that they held as a core belief. They just don't want to look at it. They just want to assume this is true, this is my belief, I'm going to live my life believing this, when in reality, maybe it's not true. But when you look at it, like say you believe something for 10 years, and then you look at it and you decide over really looking at it, studying it, asking around, getting life experience, that it's not true. Giving up that belief feels like the dying process. It's like you have to grieve giving up something that was a part of you. It's crazy. It actually feels like part of you is dying, but it's not you. I get that, but it still feels like it is. So this whole like, the more you meditate, the more you think, the more you question, the more you feel your true real experience, and then the more you put that against what you've been taught, and the more it doesn't line up, that's the more you have to adjust and the more you have to get rid of. But the more you do it, the more stuff keeps coming up, and it gets overwhelming. I'm at the point where I want it to stop. It's overwhelming. I don't want it to stop, but it feels like I can't handle anymore. Like I'd like it to slow down a little bit, maybe. Anyway, those are my thoughts about it currently. It's not easy, it's painful, and I keep waiting for it to be easy and for me to be at a place that's like really uplifting and joyful and more like a motivational speaker to share. But I'm just gonna stop waiting, because honestly, it's been hard for a long time. I don't know how much longer it's gonna be like this. And I find that when I talk to especially older, wiser people, and they share with me their struggles and the things that were really hard, it's often the most helpful. Not where everything is super easy. So I want to share the hard, the real, the messy part of the whole process, because maybe that'll help somebody that's also feeling like me, if there's any of you out there.